Today, on my Star Wars reviews, I am reviewing Red Harvest by Joe Schreiber. Now, I listened to the audio version, which is narrated by John Glover. Red Harvest is a prequel to Joe Schreiber's previous book, Star Wars Death Troopers, a horror Star Wars book. This prequel, however, fails to be horrific. It is not terrifying, and it fails in almost every way it can. Star Wars Red Harvest takes place like several thousand years before Star Wars Death Troopers. Which, fine, it could work that way. That'd be fine. But unfortunately, it doesn't. In this, they explain kind of what the infection was in Death Troopers. Kind of. In Red Harvest, the Dark Lord of the Sith named Darth Scabros is trying to find the secret of immortality when he creates this virus with a black orchid. He infects one of his students, and then his whole Sith Academy goes haywire. The biggest problem with Red Harvest is its characters. Its characters are very one-dimensional and just bland. Death Troopers had the good idea of having not many characters and having them all flushed out, and they were interesting. Red Harvest has way too many characters who you will get most of them confused with one another, and they all have similar goals. Surviving, which is understandable for a zombie story. However, most of these people are Sith apprentices, and they all act the same way, for the most part. And they're very one-dimensional and bland, which takes you out of the story. Our main Jedi is useless through the whole book. Yes, you heard me. Useless. Useless. Does like absolutely nothing, acts like the damsel in distress, which is very unfortunate for this book. We have a bounty hunter Whippet, who you'd think, oh, that'd be a cool character having a bounty hunter. No. Doesn't say much. Acts stoic, I guess. And is also very one-dimensional. Darth Scabros comes off as Count Dracula in this, which is always a great sign. Yeah. So basically, this book is not very good. And you're thinking, Jeremy, you like Death Troopers audiobook. Maybe the audio performance in this was good. No. John Glover's performance is very terrible. He does weird things in this performance. He will talk like this, and you talk, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, will be, oh, and I'm going to talk like this, and I'm going to keep talking like this. And then he goes, oh, I'm going to talk like this some more. It was very inconsistent, and just, I don't like that. There was no reason for it to become up and down in pitch. It just wasn't a good audio performance. Which, I don't like saying that, but unfortunately it is. It's just bad. The book comes off very anticlimactic. I don't think it ties in well to Death Troopers at all, to be honest. It felt like Prometheus, but nowhere near as bad as Prometheus, where a lot of things happen and supposedly questions are supposed to be answered, but they aren't. In Death Troopers, okay, we know the origin of the virus, but we don't know how the Empire gets a hold of it. We don't. That was the cool thing about Death Troopers, is not a lot. When they did explain what happened on the Star Destroyer, it was very shadowed. We knew some of the purposes of the Empire, but we didn't know where it originated from. And so in Red Harvest, it begs the question of how the Empire even found out this happened. That's what I don't understand. And that was my main problem with this. It turns into, what Matt Wilkins said, this turns out into like a cheesy like horror sequel with like teenagers and stuff. And I couldn't agree more. It was almost as if they forgot to add in like the teenagers were having sex all over the place and stuff, and someone comes in with a machete and hacks them up. That was all it was missing. And that's just the sad part of this book. This book had potential to be good. And Joe Schreiber just drops the ball. Which makes me wonder if how much control he had over this, or if this was a Lucasfilm problem. I honestly think that they both Lucasfilm and Joe Schreiber just dropped the ball with this story. And it's a shame, because Death Troopers is such a good story. So, yeah. If I have to give this stars, I'll give this 2 out of 5 stars. It's just not good. If you're a big fan of Death Troopers, then yeah, read it. If you're an Old Republic fan, I guess you can read it. But if you're getting into Star Wars, don't read Red Harvest. It's just not worth your time. Unless you really, really, really want to read it. So yeah, that's my review of Red Harvest. Tune in next time where I either review a Star Wars comic or I review Star Wars Republic Commando First Contact by Karen Travis. I'm not sure which is going to come first, but either's possible. So tune in next week. Have a nice day, people.